Hello, Abuja. As always, my name is Onyekachi Umar, and you are welcome to today's edition of Sabi Law on the Beat FM. I am with Mr.
Kenechukwu Agwu.
So today we're looking at associations. You know, it's the season of elections, and there can be an election in Nigeria without the political parties. Since Nigeria, as of today, we don't have, what do you call it?
We have a multi-party system.
Yes, and we don't have a single candidature where anybody can run for an election without without being from a political party. So that means associations are important. For any political party to exist and for the persons in political parties, they are exercising their fundamental human right, the right to form associations. I always say it's the right to join and not to join an association. However, we all know that this particular organization or commission called CAC, that's the Corporate Affairs Commission. Now, mostly when you're doing businesses in Nigeria or you're running NGOs, associations, apart from political parties, most often you have to go to CAC. And people are asking and wondering, must you go to CAC before you can form an association, before you can form a support group for a party and all? So, Mr. Kenechukwu, over to you.
So, election times, like I said, associations are formed, parties are formed, you know, association of women supporting Mr. Kachi for governorship, association of young people against Mr. Kenechukwu for governorship, association of, you know, all sorts of names. In fact, recently I'm tired of saying organizations, you know. They have soldiers, they have foot soldiers, they have so lot. They have even one they call Omale Gwoku. So many.
We have lecturers for this.
Progressive lecturers, you know, and all of that too. But Corporate Affairs Commission, CSC, is one of the federal government agencies in charge of registration, management, and dissolution of corporate entities in Nigeria. Now, there are other agencies such as the federal and state legislatures if you want to create government-owned corporations and corporate bodies, and boards and commissions, Federal Department of Cooperatives of the Federal Ministry of Labor and its equivalent in states, and local governments and area councils for formation, registration of cooperative societies, and the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority for free zone registration of entities, and then INEC for formation and registration of political parties. Now, there are 3 corporate entities that can be registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, and there are companies, business names, and incorporated trustees, which includes associations, societies, religious institutions, and not-for-profit organizations. However, the law that governs CHC, there are some business names that do not need registration. For instance, if your business name is just your name, if I'm trading in the style of Kenechukwu Agwu, doing business as Kenechukwu Agwu, I don't need to go and register Kenechukwu Agwu. But once there is an addition to it, once I add and sons, and daughters, and children, and brothers, or I add ventures, enterprise, services, that is where the law says I have to register it. It is legal and lawful to operate your business and any incorporated trustees, association, blah, 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 without registering them with the CSC. Now, it is mandatory for you to register. It is not mandatory for you to register them. Although, I must point out that the benefits of registering it are enormous. In fact, they outweigh the benefits you think you have by not registering it, right? Now, it is mandatory to register companies, including foreign companies, unless there is an exemption issued by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, organizations and associations, you have the right not to register as long as you are not doing something evil, you are not doing something wrong, you are not doing, but you cannot say you are incorporated until you are incorporated. So you are trustees, right? You are carrying out, you are an association, you are carrying out. So for instance, if you don't want, now I know it's a requirement for the banks for you to run your account that, you know, you have to have that CAC registration, SCOMO registration, and all of that. But if you decide not to bank, if you decide not to run a bank, maybe your organization has nothing to do with money, your association has nothing to do with finances, your association has nothing, you don't want to register it, there is no law in Nigeria that mandates you. Of course, special organizations or associations, you have to register like political parties, right? Our authorities for these are Section 140 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Company and Allied Matters Act 2022. Now, the Supreme Court judgment in the case of Onwe Kusi and others versus Registered Trustees of Christ Methodist Zion Church, 2011 Law Pavilion Electronic Law Report 2702.
So, in all, as Mr. Kenechukwu has said, an association, a group, a club, whatever you call it, the coming together of persons can be done in any part of Nigeria because it's a fundamental human right. You don't need the permissions of government. You don't need the permission of CAC, that's the Corporate Affairs Commission, before you can form an association. However, if you want to operate a bank account in Nigeria, seek for loan, donations, and the rest of them, you probably will need a form of registration. That's where CAC comes in. But other than that, you are free to form all your support groups and the rest of them. So until next edition, this is what we have today from Sabi Law on the Beat FM. Go Sabi Law.
Thank you, Abuja.